to Cindy's library. This is Cindy, and being the first day of a new year, we are here to look at what I managed to read in the second half of December. So let's get to it, shall we? What can I say? I couldn't resist Christmas at Hogwarts, which is basically the Christmas chapter from J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, if we're doing it the original way. Oh, I also have to say, part of the charm is the pictures. Love it. Okay, I also read The Heavenly Christmas Tree from A Bad Business by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And let's just say this gave me Little Match Girl vibes. Yes, you may need a hanky for this one. I read a few poems and the first few stories here from the L.M. Montgomery Christmas collection. Have one boarding house with a bunch of girls, mostly in college, but there's an older lady there. She doesn't look like she's having a very happy Christmas season, and the girls decide to do something about it. And of course, Anne's first Christmas at Green Gables, where she finally gets a dress with puff sleeves. And this one, not sure they're exactly specific to the stories, but they do have very wintry pictures here as well. I also read The Children of Greene by L.M. Boston. So Toby, he's never really had much of a home. His dad's in India. I think his mother died sometime before he spent most of his time at school. But now he is being sent to his great-grandmother, Old Knowe, tells him stories, and he lives in this wonderful old house. But there may be more to the stories than may first appear when things start happening. Good things, but things. This would be a wonderful one for children. I absolutely loved it. Okay, so I got to Nutcracker and the Mouse King by E.T.A. Hoffman, the original, which is interesting because in this one, our main character is not Clara, it is Marie. There is a great uncle Drosselmeyer or godfather Drosselmeyer or whatever the relationship is. There's her brother Carl, I believe. He is still annoying, but less annoying. And we get a whole backstory about the Nutcracker and the Mouse King and his family. So that was quite interesting and enjoyable. Next year, hopefully, we'll get to the one by Alexandre Dumas. Miracle on 34th Street by Valentine Davies, based on the movie. If you've seen the original movie, you pretty much know what to expect. Perfectly adorable and perfect for the holiday. We have an elderly man, Kris Kringle, and he in some ways is a bit despondent because he feels people no longer believe in him because he thinks he is Santa Claus. Well, when he meets a very skeptical young woman, Doris, and her daughter Susan, who's not been encouraged in anything imaginative. He takes it as a challenge to convince them that there really is a Santa Claus. And what happens from there? Ah, perfect for the Christmas season. And a classic, of course, the best Christmas pageant ever by Barbara Robinson. The Herdmans, they're the worst kids ever. Family of 6 of them. No father, mother works all the time. They do basically whatever they want. And this year, they decide to crash the Christmas pageant, which is always already in an interesting position because the church gal who usually does it broke her leg and she can't do it. So our narrator's mother is doing it this year. But Herdman's or not, she is determined it is going to be the best Christmas pageant ever somehow. And somehow it is. See, I did a few stories here. Let's see, this year I did um, A Christmas Tree by Charles Dickens, where he goes over Christmas traditions and memories. Legend of the Christmas Rose by Selma Lagerlöf, set in a Scandinavian setting. There's a monastery or something similar. There is a bandit's family, and things go on from there. And of course, Christmas would not be Christmas without A Christmas Carol. Love it, love it, love it. And I almost forgot this one. Murder for Christmas. What would Christmas be without a little murder and mayhem? This one. Let's see, this year I did Cambric Tea by Marjorie Bowen, in which there's a mystery to be solved on Christmas Eve, and Death on Christmas Eve by Stanley Ellen, another death on Christmas Eve. These were sadder stories, I have to admit. Guess murder and mayhem at Christmas is not always fun and good times with people, the right people getting their comeuppance. I also read The Spirit of Christmas by Greg Olsen, known for his paintings. But seems like he wrote this as well. And I guess all of this is in more a sketch style. Absolutely gorgeous though, and sweet. Perfect for the Christmas season. Now, a pleasant surprise was this. Sherlock Holmes, A Three-Pipe Christmas, which includes The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is considered his Sherlock Holmes Christmas story, and it is a good one. The Unique Hamlet by Vincent Sarrett. This is considered perhaps the best parody, pastiche of Sherlock Holmes ever written. And yes, it takes place at Christmas, and we get into the wild and strange world of rarebit collecting. We continue that theme with The Adventure of the Unique Dickensians by August Derleth, except that one, oh, that one is part of a series the Solar Ponds series, who is almost but not quite Sherlock Holmes. His stories are primarily 20s and 30s, I believe. And all three of these were perfect for the Christmas season. And so we have a Jewel and then some uh, rare book adventures, mysteries. So that was very fun. I also read the Sittaford mystery by Agatha Christie, which is perfect since it's very seasonal. We have this house several miles from uh, the main village, maybe 6 miles, I said, or so they said. One, the main house and the cottages are maybe 1 mile or so from another cluster of cottages and one or two things. But the main village is about 6 miles away. Well, the new people who are renting the manor house invite most of the other cottagers, so there's 6 of them, to the manor. And well, they basically have a seance in which they are told the guy who owns the manor in the first place and is staying in the village has been murdered, is dead. And so his best friend, who is one of the people there, goes off to investigate, and sure enough, he is indeed dead. How did it happen, though? That is the question. This is a standalone mystery, and the standout character is probably uh, what's her name? Emily. That's right. Her boyfriend uh, is accused of the murder. She's determined to prove him innocent. There's also a journalist on the scene. So, fun times. I also read The Wind in the Willows, which has a couple wintry chapters, so perfect for that. The Wind in the Willows is the adventures of a very shy badger, friendly mole, even more friendly and sensible rat, and of course Mr. Toad, who is a nice enough fellow as far as personality goes, but tends to get himself into trouble over the littlest things. So, perfect time for a reread. So glad that I did. And read a few things on my Kindle. So, let's see. Ah, yes. The Grey Mask by Patricia Wentworth. This is the first Miss Silver mystery. Miss Silver, I guess, is a retired governess. She used to be in education anyway. And she has set out her single to be a detective, a very discreet one. The kind of detective that ladies with an embarrassing secret can come to her and she can help them solve whatever the problem is. Although actually there's not that much of her in the book. The main story is well, we have several different people. We have one young gentleman who's come back after maybe 10 years or so after being jilted practically at the altar. So he went off to parts unknown. But his father or other relative recently died, and so he has to come back and see to the estate. We also had the girl who did the jilting, who Uh, for some reason, uh, she should be doing better than she is. Let's put it that way. She's also up to some interesting things, shall we say. Then we have another girl, very young, just out of school practically. Her father just died, and she may or may not be an heiress, and she doesn't know the world very much, shall we say. Gets into trouble. So, quite enjoyable. A little disappointed we didn't actually get more of Miss Silver, but that's okay. Then I read Near Neighbors by Molly Clavering, which was rather enjoyable. Uh, so there's this little crescent neighborhood. Some of the houses are old, some of them are newer. The old house lived these two sisters. The elder one who ruled the roost since their father died. Not very nice, not very neighborly, no one good enough for them, and so she wouldn't let her younger sister do anything. On the wrong side of the neighborhood, although practically next door, is this family, widow with 4 daughters and a son. I think the youngest may still be in school, regular school, not college. And so lots of young adults and their trials and travails in and out of love and job trouble sometimes and all of that. And, well, now that elder sister is no longer around, the younger sister is finally able to get out, and she makes friends with these neighbors, or it would be better to say they make friends with her first. Their lives become entwined. Very, very nice. There is a little bit of language, although given the characters who do that, you can't say you're entirely surprised. Just to warn you. And there are a few tragic situations as well. Really, the whole situation with the elder sister is tragic, though, because it's tragic when you've lived such a life that no one really misses you, which is a tragedy in a lot of murder mysteries. On the one hand, the person who is murdered, no one liked, they did bad things even sometimes, but it's sad that no one misses them. And yet, we can't get enough of it because we keep going back to mysteries, apparently. Anyway, that is what I managed to read for the second half of the month of December. I thought I wouldn't get much in some ways I didn't, but in some ways I managed to read more than I thought I might, which is wonderful. How has your December reading been? I hope it has been as fun and festive as mine has been, or at least as enjoyable, whatever that means to you. I hope this has been a wonderful season for you. It has been for me. Lots of time with family, which is always a good thing, at least for me. Hope it is for you too, or at least with friends. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly do appreciate it. So until next time, I hope we all stay safe and healthy. And as always, happy reading.